Warning. This program may contain material of an explicit or graphic nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Broadcasting undead from the B Ward, this is the Post-Mortem Show. I'm Dom.
And I'm JD. And today, as suggested by our faithful listener Antoine, the top 5 horror movie grudges.
Grudges. Pissed off people.
I will have my revenge.
Rivalries.
Yes, indeed.
JD versus the Bear.
And most of mine, they take place over several movies. Some of them are one movie, but I try to go when they're sequels too.
Yeah, sequels make for great grudges, but sometimes, like certain movies, like The Grudge gets handled in one movie swiftly and efficiently,
for sure,
and that can still make for a great grudge.
Yeah, definitely, and that's where my list is kind of all around, off the fucking wall. Yeah. All kinds of different varying grudges and a lot of honorable mentions.
Yeah,
but
definitely. I kept mine to 5 grudges and 5 honorable mentions. But there's some movies I got to go back and watch now. When I was doing my research, the ones that I'd seen before that I hadn't seen in a long time.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh wow, I don't remember if this one's good or not. You
know? Yeah, it did lead to a bunch of gems of the past. But before we get into the top 5 horror movie grudges, horror news, and we're doing At the Movies Dolls Edition this week. Annabelle Creation and the Cult of Chucky.
That's right. And before we even get into horror news, I have a message for you from my girlfriend, Michelle.
Okay.
I wanted to give you this message on the air.
Okay.
She specifically says, tell JD I said, what up, Strokes?
I wish you would have told me that after my thing I wanted to get into. That would have brought the fucking mood back up. But yesterday in Las Vegas, we had a horrible tragedy.
Yeah.
On the show we joke about death. We joke about
killing and
stuff,
horrible
stuff
shit
like that. But this shit is not cool at all.
Yeah.
And the worst shooting in American history. So
yeah, and actually people that we know have had family members that were affected by it.
Yeah, definitely. So you're not funny with your little fucking memes.
Yeah. I'm actually going to editorialize about something similar to that at the end of horror news. I got some shit that I got to get off my chest.
All right.
But we'll go into horror news first.
We'll go into horror news first, and like I said, our positive thoughts are with the families of those affected, and but we're gonna do a 180 now. We're gonna bring the mood back up.
That's right.
Have some horror news, make some jokes. There'll be some dick jokes probably.
Yeah, talk about some dicks.
All right,
about Biff being a mummy.
It's time for some horror news. Horror news. We didn't even get to that.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to Biff being a fucking mummy.
Yeah.
As you're here, as you're arriving,
there was a dogfight.
Airplanes
crashing into
Biff and Boomer went at it, and they go at it a lot.
Yeah.
But this time, something happened.
Yeah, Boomer's a salty old fuck too, man. He's like the 90-year-old guy in the bar that'll still fucking kill you with one hand.
Yeah, and so he's got a little bit of a bloody nose, but Biff is wrapped up like a fucking mummy right now because his ear, I'm going to have to take him into the vet tomorrow. He's going to be a fucking expensive day.
Yeah.
Because his ear, you saw it.
It's going to be cockeyed and cock-eared.
Yeah.
He should just have a stroke so the whole side of his body is lazy.
Maybe that's what happened to him in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be fucking expensive. But
he's Pharaoh Biff and common now.
All my horror news this week, it's a 1, 2, and 3-parter.
Oh, wow.
And you won't guess why I picked the other 2 articles till we get to the third and I explain it. So, I'm going to start us off with a cannibal family confesses to killing and eating at least 30 people in Russia where they kept human remains in the cellar of their house of horror and posed for selfies with body parts.
Wow.
Have you heard about this?
No.
The alleged cannibal family is admitted to killing and eating at least 30 people over a period of 18 years, it was reported last week. Police have understood that found 8 body parts, are checking for more human remains to assess the veracity of these confessions. 35-year-old Dmitry Bakshev from Krasnodar, southern Russia, was identified as having told interrogators he began his macabre terror in 1999.
Wow.
Is when he started this. The man and his wife Natalia, 42, a nurse, were part of a cannibal family, according to MASH news outlet, which is known to have links to the Russian law enforcement. MASH initially identified the pictured woman as his cannibal wife, but local sources in Krasnodar insisted that she was a victim. So there's this round, it's going the rounds right now, of people are sharing this, and it's the man and the woman, but that's a victim, it's not the wife. The wife doesn't look like that. So in their home video entitled Lessons for Cannibals, they've promoted this home video themselves called Lessons for Cannibals. Natalia has undergone psychiatric tests and be judged to be mentally healthy, according to MASH, but mentally healthy cannibal family? What do you think about that?
What the fuck is happening in Russia right now, man?
Yeah.
They're hacking our elections, they're storing each other and taking selfies out of it.
Storing human remains in the fridge and freezer as well as the cellar. And, 7 packs of frozen body parts were found.
How many dicks?
Preserved some meat in jars. One image shows what is alleged to be human remains pickled in a jar. What human remains? You might ask. It's got to be a dick. I haven't seen the picture.
Dude, if you're going to pickle something, you got to pickle the dick.
What's shaped like a pickle?
A dick?
A dick. So
and pickle dick kind of just rolls off your tongue.
Yep, and it's just kind of old Risky's pickle dick. You have to eat a pickle dick to even order a shot of vodka in Russia.
Comrade Boris's pickle dick.
So that's part 1 of my story.
Yeah. I got Russian news too. Burger King Russia has filed an official government complaint to the Federal Anti-Monopoly Service demanding that Andy Muschietti's It be pulled from theaters because they think that Pennywise resembles Ronald McDonald and gives McDonald's an unfair advantage. Yes, they think a clown that terrorizes children in a horror movie is driving customers to their competitor. It opened September 7th in Russia, has grossed $14 million in that country so far, according to Hollywood Reporter. Newsweek reported that Andrei Kasharov, deputy of the FAS, which is the Federal Anti-Monopoly Group, told publications, including the Russian news agency RIA Novosti, that he was not concerned with the content of the film because the author of the script and the director have their own artistic perception of the Pennywise character that has nothing to fucking do with McDonald's.
It's fucking stupid.
Not only are there cannibals there, there's idiots there.
Yeah, I guess so. Because, so Pennywise is an advertisement for a Big Mac?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's going to make you not want to go have a Big Mac.
Yeah, for sure.
Might be made out of a little kid's arm.
Might have been made by my Russian family. My Russian cannibal family.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickled dicks on a sesame seed bun.
That's our rating system.
Just all that?
All of that.
Okay.
Try to remember it because I won't.
I can remember it.
All right, so part 2 of my story, which will lead to the part 3.
Your Russian saga.
It's not Russian, though. So, children of a horrifying incest cult. 4 generations of inbreeding found living deformed, filthy, and mute in Scenic Valley, Australia.
Wow.
We're crossing the continents now.
Yeah.
We're going from whatever continent Russia is in to Australia. I know what continent Russia is.
Eurasia.
It's a joke. So, the dark, disturbing secrets of the Australian Valley, where 40 adults and youngsters emerged in a deformed cult today that they found.
Wow.
Incapable of intelligible speech, some of the children had oddly formed features as a result of being born to parents who were themselves related. Brothers and sisters, uncles and aunts had sex with one another over 4 generations, raising children in squalid conditions, who themselves grew up to become intimate and have more inbred children. Children found living in filth and sheds, broken down caravans with numerous disabilities from their inbred births. So, part 2 of my story, Australian incest cult.
Wow. Australia's got a weird fucking history. White people came to Australia because it was a prison colony. So, I would bet that something like this, especially to create that level of deformity and fucked up, and this has been happening for generations.
Generations and generations of Big Macs.
Yeah. That'll fuck you up.
Yeah, that's part 2. So
Wow.
those things will tie together in part 3, but there's also a swerve.
I'm curious now. So, a new Terminator sequel is in the works. Produced by James Cameron and directed by Tim Miller, who brought us Deadpool. This is a continuation of the story from Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, and we're pretending the other films were a bad dream or an alternate timeline, which is permissible in our multiverse. Cameron told THR in a special Q&A session on September 19th. He went on to say, "It was really driven more by Tim than anybody, surprisingly, because I came in pretty agnostic about where we took it," meaning he hadn't watched the sequels after T2. "The only thing I insisted on was that we somehow revamp it and reinvent it for the 21st century. Miller notes that the first 2 films are more relevant today than they were when Cameron made them, in reference to technology sort of taking over, but instead of the machines violently taking over, they're sort of assimilating all of us. With, you know, and then with all the stuff we've been talking about, with AI and the sex robots coming back and killing people and all that.
Sex Terminators.
Sex Terminators. It's going to happen. So, both Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton are on board to reprise their roles from the original 2 movies. Beyond Arnold and Hamilton's appearance, Cameron and Miller are looking to have the established characters pass the proverbial torch to new ones. Cameron says, "We're starting to search for an 18-something young woman to essentially be the new centerpiece for these stories."
Isn't this the same way they're rebooting Blade Runner? Isn't it the same fucking thing where Harrison Ford's going, but he's giving it to the younger guy, but he's in the movie still, and they're just like passing it down to try... That's the thing, like all these fucking reboots, remakes, and shit. They either go, ignore it, or now this is the new thing to where they come back and the guy who originally is in it, so it gives it credibility.
Yeah.
But he's in it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think it's a good idea to some extent, though, because these actors can't be around forever.
I've never seen anything after Terminator 2. I've never watched the rest. I just was against it.
I've seen a few of them. They're not good.
Yeah.
You know, this is the smartest way to do it, as opposed to doing a reboot. You do a continuation. You keep the story going, but you don't have fucking, you know, Arnold's going to be like 80 soon.
Yeah.
You know, and
he's a douche.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for sure. But the thing is, I'll give you a controversial opinion about Terminator. Terminator 1, far superior to Terminator 2.
In terms of, like...
Terminator 1's a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's Jason.
I agree.
Terminator 2 is a big-budget Hollywood popcorn movie.
Yeah.
It's not as good whatsoever. Those effects are questionable nowadays.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were revolutionary for the time.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Yeah. So the only thing that I want to add to this is there is no word as to whether or not Edward Furlong has been tapped to come back as John Connor.
Okay, I would support it if it was.
Yeah.
He needs the work.
Yeah,
for no other reason.
He's haggard as fuck right now because of the drugs and all that.
Yeah.
If he lost some weight, maybe like, you know, got a good gym routine going, took some notes from Christian Bale on how to lose weight real fast, he could be in good shape and be haggard, and that would make sense for the storyline.
You know what,
John Connor would probably have had a fucked up life.
So as a counteroffer to your pitch for Edward Furlong in the new Terminator, I'm going to pitch a reality series where Edward Furlong in his current state and the kid from The Sixth Sense in his current state and Macaulay Culkin live under one roof. I give you Has-Been House.
Wow.
Heroin Has-Been House.
For real.
Those three do not look good.
Maybe they could have a special appearance by the kid who played Anakin Skywalker in the fucking Phantom Menace.
The one with the fucking stupid pod racing?
Yeah, he's like literally schizophrenic.
Good
now.
Nintendo 64 game, bad
Great
movie.
Nintendo 64 game. I played a lot of Pod Racer on acid.
Acid Pod Racer?
Yeah, we had a big fucking TV in my apartment in San Francisco, and we used to just fucking trip balls and play Pod Racer.
Wow, I have it. I have it.
And you got a big fucking TV.
And I got a big fucking
Let's
TV.
get some acid.
All right, well, my part 3. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I feel like I overhyped it because I'm going to swerve you at the end.
Okay.
But next year's 11th season return of The X-Files will feature an actress who once played the show's most notorious role. Karen Conoval previously appeared on the series in 1996 playing a mutant breeding amputee kept under a bed in Home.
That's right.
The episode was so notoriously disturbing that for years, Fox declined to re-air it. They never re-aired it after the first run. Home went on to be considered one of the show's most popular episodes and the most horror-oriented one as well.
For sure.
But that's where the good part ends. It's still good, but those are... Okay, so that's why I brought up the cannibals and the inbreeding to bring up this news story. And that's where the cannibals and inbreeding stop, unfortunately. Because we were going to get some Karen Carnival, but we're not going to get Mama in her fucking old Cadillac. Instead, she's going to play multiple roles in a very scary episode in the new season.
Really?
I don't know whether it's multiple personalities, like a split kind of thing. Right. I don't know whether it's like twins and
maybe she'll play like the multiple descendants of Mama.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Show creator Chris Carter said, while Karen Carnival won't be reprising her role as the mother under the bed in the fan favorite episode Home, she will be returning in a tour de force performance in an early episode, or more accurately, performances.
Nice.
So she's going to be playing multiple characters in one. She was a minor character, but that was disturbing.
That was a
young
episode,
JD. That scared me more than a lot of horror movies when I was a little kid.
Yeah, it was some dark shit, especially for something on TV at that time.
Yeah, that was very extreme. If you guys haven't seen the X-Files episode Home, I think it's like season 5 or something.
Yeah,
like
it was before Millennium came out, right?
Yeah,
because Millennium went into dark territory. Like
Millennium was pretty cool.
But that was a first.
Yeah, it's for mainstream TV, but if you don't think X-Files is horror, you got to watch that episode Home.
I'm really excited for this new season. I think
Me too.
It's going to be good.
Have you watched the last season? Have you watched the Weremonster episode yet?
I have not seen it yet. No,
God damn it, don't.
Because it's not on Netflix anymore.
Why haven't you pulled the... Yeah, no, it's not, but the new one never was. Why haven't you pulled the trigger on Mulder and Scully Meet the Weremonster?
I need to find it.
If you like comedy episodes, it's pretty fucking good.
Comedy
and horror,
on it.
You know? So...
I got some TV news, too.
All right.
A 6-part miniseries is premiering on the Paramount Network, formerly Spike TV, this coming January, entitled Waco. It stars a bemulleted Taylor Kitsch as David Koresh, Michael Meth Eyes Shannon as the FBI agent obsessed with bringing him down, and was written by Drew and John Eric Dowdle, who wrote the Poughkeepsie tapes. The series was...
I can't fucking wait for this.
Yeah.
I saw this too, and when you told me you had it on your news, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to pile on, but I can't fucking wait for this.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon is the fucking shit.
The series chronicles a 1993 standoff between the FBI and the Branch Davidian cult, and it uses information from 2 biographies about the Waco siege. A Place Called Waco, written by Branch Davidian member and one of the sect's survivors, David Thibodeau, and Stalling for Time, My Life as an FBI Hostage Negotiator, written by the FBI's head of crisis negotiation, Gary Noncer, who will be played by Shannon. A short trailer is available on YouTube right now. Gives away very little, but it shows what looks to be a very promising performance by Taylor Kitsch as David Koresh.
Michael Shannon has some fucking chops as an intimidating authority figure.
Yeah.
You know, he's always the meth-eyed crazy guy.
Yeah.
But if you see Nocturnal Animals, you got to check that fucker out. Have you seen it?
No.
Nocturnal Animals with Jake Gyllenhaal, and he is a detective, and he's super fucking awesome.
Nice. Oh, he's just a powerful actor either way. So.
He's great. Did you ever watch My Son, What Have You Done?
Yes, I did.
That was good, huh?
He was amazing in that.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, and I am very much looking forward to this. You know, the whole... I was like 13 when the whole Branch Davidian thing was happening, and I was fucking just glued to my TV when it was happening, because I was interested in cults, and it was chaos, and it was the government fucking up.
Yeah.
You know, it was all the shit that I was just like starting to wrap my brain around. And this is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I can't fucking wait for this one. I was looking forward to The Mist, and that fucking sucked. It's the only thing
canceled.
that I know, but that's the only thing that fucking scares me, because it's still Spike. Whether they change the name of the network or not, it's still Spike. Spike doesn't have a good track record of horror.
But it is written by the people who made the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Yes, and it has Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
And so with those two, it's got to be good.
That's very hard to fuck up. If they shit the bed with this, then there's no hope.
And directed by Cary Fukunaga. If it was, dude, that would be awesome.
Oh, man. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Well, it's a 6-part miniseries, so I'm guessing it has multiple directors. I hope the the writers at least get one episode too, because the writers wrote and directed Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Yeah. Poughkeepsie Tapes was pretty fucking good.
It was great. Yeah.
Is it streaming still on Netflix? Was it on Netflix for a while? Or maybe it's Amazon. Maybe it's on Amazon, but I think it's streaming somewhere. But if you guys haven't seen Poughkeepsie Tapes, we don't talk about that enough.
Yeah.
So
after we got back from Slave to the Deathmatch, I started listening to Last Podcast on the Left.
Yeah.
And I listened to the the Leonard Lake and Charles Ng podcast.
I told you that was a good one.
It totally reminded me of Poughkeepsie Tapes. I'm pretty sure that's where they got the idea of it from.
For sure, yeah. For sure. Yeah. We didn't even talk about that. Slave to the Deathmatch.
Yeah.
It happened. It came.
You
saw?
Yeah.
We got a 6-foot trophy?
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's at the trophy shop.
Getting put back together?
Getting put back together because it's hard to fly with a 6-foot trophy. That's the only thing they don't tell you when they give it to you.
Yeah. It's like one last rib for your career.
Yeah.
That and the belt, they stopped us at the fucking the X-ray because the
saw
belt has a saw blade on it.
Yeah.
They were cool about it though,
Yeah, he was cool. He even made his entrance with the championship belt, so yeah.
Yeah.
Had my last ever professional wrestling match. Won the Slave to the Deathmatch tournament this year for the 7th year I've been in it, or 6th or 7th year I've been in it. And won the fucking thing this year finally. So went out on a high note. I got to travel the fucking country. I got to meet a bunch of people. So if you were there and you're a listener, thank you for everything. And
got to be retired by Sage and Homeless Jimmy.
R.I.P. JD Horror. No more JD Horror.
Yeah.
Just JD now.
Yeah.
Postmortem JD.
That's right.
I'm dead, so get it?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. All right,
so I got one thing I want to editorialize on before we jump away from horror news.
Okay.
This is something that we've been talking quite a bit about, and something that we've been talking about online quite a bit too, with our little Sleep on the Creeper hashtag that we've been putting out. So, if you guys don't know by now, Victor Salva, who made Jeepers Creepers 3, is a fucking scumbag. He
pedophile, convicted, raped a kid on set for 6 years.
6 years.
Served
filmed
18 months.
18 months of a 3-year sentence in a treatment facility.
Yeah.
Never saw the inside of a prison cell. Then fucking skipped back into Hollywood. And
he looks like a Mexican John Wayne Gacy.
He looks like a fat Mexican John Waters. With a fucking pencil-thin mustache.
That is true, too. And now this fucker is putting child molestation jokes in his movie when he's a child molester.
In the fucking movie.
So,
absolutely.
Don't watch it, don't support it, don't fucking buy it.
Due to an outcry from the horror community, Jeepers Creepers 3 was only given a one-day limited release last week, and some theaters even canceled that showing on the day of because of threats of protest. The movie only grossed $1,773,000. Though the film studio has not made the movie's budget public, Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2 had a mean budget of about $13.5 million. It's pretty safe to assume the third movie cost about that much.
Even if it was half, it's still a massive failure.
Which makes it a massive failure because people didn't go see it.
Yeah.
Now the studio is trying to give it a second-day release because some people did go and see it.
You know what they're going to do? It's going to be on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, they're going to...
For free.
Yeah, well, they want to show it one more time in theaters before it goes to Sci-Fi Channel, and then it's going to go to Sci-Fi Channel, then it's going to go to streaming and home media. Yeah. Don't go to the showing. Don't buy it. Don't even watch it on Sci-Fi.
Don't do that. Yeah, don't give them the fucking ratings because, it's not like you're fucking grabbing some kid by the balls if you watch the movie, but you're supporting that. You know, that's what it comes down to. You're supporting the fucking pain that these children went through.
Yeah,
so.
and there are people out there that are like, well, we should support horror movies. No, fucking supporting scum like this does not support horror movies. It hurts it. There are good directors out there who are not child molesters, but aren't getting their movies made because Hollywood wants their cash cows, and Victor Salva is one of their cash cows right now. And I've seen the fucking lowest of the low motherfuckers on the internet commenting on this. People saying, well, that kid got paid to act in his movies, so he should be able to do whatever he wants to him. That kid should be grateful.
I've never seen that, but I've seen people say, I don't care, I'm going to see it anyway.
I'm going to see it anyway. You know what? If you say that, I'm sorry. I have friends that have gone and seen this movie that I'm very disappointed in because you're acting like an unprincipled fuck.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be that good of a movie. If a fucking movie is more important to you than some kid getting molested and tortured for 6 years...
I'm going to go ahead and put it out there right now. This is how strongly I feel about it. My favorite movie ever, Reanimator.
Yeah.
If it came out that Brian Yuzna and Stuart Gordon and Jeffrey Combs were gangbanging fucking kids or something, and they were coming out with Reanimator 4, not only would I fucking not see it, I would carve this fucking tattoo off of my arm. I would skin my fucking Reanimator tattoo off of my arm and get covered up or something. Because, and all this fucking, you see how many, I have Reanimator posters and action figures and sculptures and all kinds of shit. All that shit will be burned like I'm a fucking anti-NFL redneck.
He's taking a knee! Fuck.
He was taking a dick, not a knee, so I had to burn my Reanimator stuff.
Don't even get me started on that NFL shit. But
no, we're not going to talk about that.
Don't be an unprincipled fuck. There are more important things in this world than watching a movie. Yeah. And one of those things is kids not getting molested. There are people who have kids who are saying, "Oh, I'm going to go see this movie anyway." Yeah, imagine if that was your kid that got molested.
Yeah. And him making jokes about it.
Yeah, him making money, and you continuing to just fucking see his name on movie posters and shit. Like, don't be a fucking scumbag, people.
You know, this is a sad episode. We're talking about mass murder at the beginning. We're talking about fucking active child molesters. What the fuck is the world coming to?
Tom Petty died.
Okay, so all right. I'm gonna give you a controversial opinion. Do you know how Tom Petty died?
He had a heart attack.
Free falling, he was free falling.
What I want to know is
free falling.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it? Yeah, no, absolutely. And what I want to know is if Kim Basinger went and danced with his corpse.
God damn it! We're all principled. Come in with the sad news about the stuff. Gonna berate people for going to see this movie, and then we judge a poor ginger man who has a whiny voice and make jokes about his passing.
I love Tom Petty's music.
Me too.
Yeah,
and that's why I would judge.
Yeah, and that's one thing. A whole other thing is supporting child molesters.
Yeah. So,
if somebody killed Tom Petty, I would not support them.
If you've learned anything from this segment, R.I.P. Tom Petty. Fuck you, Victor Salva. And
we're hypocrites.
Before we get, and we're fucking hypocrites. We are unprincipled fucks as well. But before we get back into the At the Movies Dolls edition, I just want to say one more time that our thoughts are with the families of those affected by the tragedy in Las Vegas, and we will be back with Dom and JD at the movies.
Hi, thanks for listening to the Postmortem Podcast. If you want to support us, go to our website at www.postmortemshow.com and click the Amazon link.
By clicking on the Amazon banner, Amazon will give a small percentage of the purchase price of your item back to the Postmortem Podcast at no additional cost to you. That's right. It doesn't cost you any money. We get money. You want us to keep doing this? You want more Doug Jones talk? You want more dick and fart talk? I don't care. We're going to do it.
Fund our filthy, filthy habits.
Yes, and they are many, and they are fast.
And most of them aren't legal.
Yes. Click the banner. Just do it.
Come on, don't be a dick. Give us money.
Let's go down to the movies with Dom and JD, the Blood Boobies, and Doug Jones. Psychos, monsters, bloody slashes, maniacs, and tits and asses, chainsaws, knives, and facial bashes on Postmortem. Let's go down to the movies with Dom and JD for some more Doug Jones. So, Doug Jones.
Okay, we're back. Dom and JD at the movies. Special Dolls edition.
Yeah, not intentional. It just kind of happened that way.
Yeah, it just kind of happened that way. Just dolls. We never did the top 5 dolls either.
We haven't.
We should have done that this episode.
We should have.
Damn you, Antoine, for your suggestions.
Hindsight is 20/20.
But yeah, so we went and we saw Annabelle Creation and the Cult of Chucky.
Yep.
And we're going to start off this week with Annabelle Creation. 2017, directed by David F. Sandberg, who did Lights Out, and written based on the characters by Gary Daberman, starring Lulu Wilson and Talitha Bateman. Annabelle Creation.
Yep.
Named after my daughter.
It is.
But
it was actually just you having sex with your ex-wife. That was the movie.
Never want to talk about that. So, 12 years after the tragic death of their little girl, a doll maker and his wife welcome a nun and several girls from a shuttered orphanage into their home, where they soon become the target of the doll maker's possessed creation, Annabelle. That's the IMDb synopsis. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
That's not really what this movie's about.
Yeah.
The doll is just a fucking doll.
It's just...
That's why this is
Yeah.
acceptable. It's
Yeah.
not fucking Chucky or anything. The doll's a doll. It's a fucking demon.
It's a focus. Like,
Yeah.
It's more like a central, like, conduit for
Yeah.
evil energy.
And the thing is, too, like, okay, we talked about demons. We talked about, like, how a lot of movies with demons is just people that are possessed.
Yeah.
And very rarely do they show the actual demons. That's one thing I like about this, is they do show you the demon. So that's refreshing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there is a possession and stuff, but it could have went without that. But main character we follow is a little girl with polio named Jan. While some of the other orphans are mean to her, another girl named Linda befriends her. I thought the two main little girls kicked ass.
Yeah, they were
actresses. Both really good child actresses.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find terrific child actresses like this that can give you sympathy.
Yeah.
You know? Because a lot of time they're a little flat, you know, they're
Or
just
annoying.
learning, or annoying, you know, like the Babadook kid. But I also like the nun. She was pretty good.
Yeah.
But all the other little orphan girls are cunts.
And also the two, like, they're supposed to be the older girls, and they were kind of mean.
Yeah.
Like, Michelle and I were joking while we were laughing or watching the movie, like, they were way too old to be orphans. And, like, every time something happened, we'd be like, don't you do that to that 18-year-old woman? Don't you do that to that 36-year-old woman? Why would you do that to a 52-year-old woman?
Just increasing every time.
Yeah.
The score and the jump scares are pretty good.
Yeah, solid.
So is the cinematography and the effects. The finger-breaking scene was fucking awesome.
Great.
That looked really good.
Yeah.
Also, like I said, I'll give points for showing a demon, because it's very rare that they do it.
And it looked good.
And it looked good, yeah. It was really good.
Yeah.
But movie's well made, but there isn't a lot of substance.
No.
The plot is simple. You don't get much backstory until the third act. That's
Yeah.
when you start realizing why things are happening the way they're happening. It took a while. I would have liked a little bit more origin story before the third act.
Especially because it's called Creation.
Yeah, and it doesn't really... Till the creation is like the finale of the movie and shit. So I could... It's a good way to spend an hour and a half, but I couldn't see myself like sitting down and rewatching it ever. So it's a popcorn horror movie,
Yeah.
like all the Insidious franchise. Good for a one-off if you got some time to kill and you're a horror fan, but...
This was, in my opinion, the best movie in the Conjuring / Annabelle series.
I like Sinister. Sinister 1.
Was that part of the same?
No, it's not the same. It's the same, like, a lot of the same people, though.
Yeah.
I think about the same...
But in terms of, like, the Conjuring and Annabelle, like, those movies
They are tied
they're
together,
linked.
yeah.
And in that series, I think this was the best. And the total lack of Ed and Lorraine Warren improved the film exponentially for me.
Yeah, that's what I would... One thing I would say, that it made it a lot better. Yeah.
My other complaint about it is these movies are still Christian propaganda. You know, like the whole locking the doll in the room with the Bible pages on the wall was the only way to contain it.
But,
and, you know,
dude, I mean, that's, like, to me, like, I get where you're coming from. That's super nitpicking, though, because all demon-related movies have always been, like, the priest is the good guy and stuff like that. Like, The Exorcist, you could say that's Christian propaganda.
But not The Exorcist 3, because the priest fails, and it's the atheist that gets rid of the demon in The
Yeah,
Exorcist
that's
3.
true. That's true, but, like, a lot of, most of the, you know, even Night of the Demons, even things like that, the cross, and it's just, to me, it's lore like vampires are afraid of crosses.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really give a fuck about, you know, I hate organized religion and stuff like that, but, like, when I think about, like...
Evil Dead is another movie that doesn't have any Christian propaganda. And it
That's
has
true.
Demons.
He does put a cross down.
That's true.
On
That's
the body.
true. That is the whole hallowed ground thing.
Yeah, that
So,
whole thing.
yeah.
Like, there. So, like, I don't think it's necessarily like Christian propaganda more than that's the lore of these movies. You know, if you think about it that way, then it's not as bad. You
Yeah,
know what I
that's
mean?
true,
If you
that's
just
true.
go into it like thinking like, well, this is in the vampire universe, a cross or holy water, or it's vampires. So this is what we've been taught. Of course, they're going to use that. You know, so
Yeah.
that's why I kind of look at it.
Yeah,
But
that's fair enough.
this was a lot better than I thought it would be.
For sure.
So was the first Annabelle.
Yeah,
the first
I
Annabelle
really-
was better. I think that was better than I thought it would be. I think I like this one more than the first one, though.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
It had some genuinely creepy moments, like the little girl's mom with her doll mask.
and the scarecrow.
Yeah, the scarecrow. Like there were a
And,
couple times
and,
where I was
and
like, "Oh, what's going to
the
happen?"
crucifixion.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's some pretty good things. You know.
and yeah, there were a couple moments where, like, you know, I'll watch a movie, you'll watch a horror movie, and you'll be like, "Oh, that person's doing something stupid," but you accept it because it's part of what horror movies are.
Yeah.
But like, there were a couple times where I was like, "Oh fuck, don't do it." Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, they did it. Shit.
Yeah.
It lured me in.
Well, and one thing I will say is that like it has one laugh out loud moment. It doesn't have a lot of humor in this movie, but there's one laugh out loud moment That is your soul.
Yeah, that was fucking
that took
cheesy.
me out of it. I was like, oh man. Right when that happened, I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Just jump the shark.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it would have been just as easy for them to be like, what do you want? And it could have turned around and been like, just, scary demon face. And I didn't have to say anything. Like,
but your soul, and that was like the CGI in the eyes at that point was really evident and stuff. That was the one thing I would change about it. Not the finest moment
of this movie.
Yeah, definitely the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
But IMDb gives this one a 6.8.
Okay.
So, pretty good for a modern day horror movie for IMDb standards. I would say, like, I would give the first Annabelle maybe a 6.8, but this one I liked a little bit more. I think I'd go like 7.4. Whatever the fucking recipe you describe to our audience, the recipe of the Big Mac.
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickled dick on a sesame seed bun.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the pickled dick. Yeah. That's what I couldn't remember. Now I can remember the rest. All I remember was the pickled dick.
So, one place that this movie did suffer a little bit was towards the end. It kind of like, it built up to a crescendo and then fell flat. And I think that was a writing problem. This series needs Mike Flanagan.
I think Sandberg did a pretty credible job.
He did a good job.
What he was given. Yeah. Mike Flanagan definitely is the guy when it comes to like mainstream PG-13 horror and actually making it good.
Yeah.
I will go see anything that man makes.
Absolutely.
You know,
so that in mind, this was, as I said, in my opinion, the best of this film series, which doesn't say a lot because I have a pretty low opinion of a lot of the movies in this series. Yeah. But I'm going to give it 6 out of 10 to all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickled dick on a sesame seed bun.
Extra pickled dicks, please. No onions.
I'd like some extra pickled dicks, please.
Can I get those on the side? All right, so that's it for Annabelle Creation. Yeah. But we have one more doll-related movie. Something Dom has highly anticipated. Mm-hmm. He had high hopes for, but I had no interest whatsoever. And this review might be the most polarizing between the co-hosts in the history of Postmortem.
I'm interested to see where this goes.
It's going to go very poorly for the Cult of Chucky, in my opinion. Because I hated this fucking movie.
Wow.
And I know you told me, you said, oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Me? Nope. Couldn't give it the time of day. Hated it. So before we get to that, we'll talk a little bit about why. 2017, written and directed by Don Marconi. Starring Brad Dourif, Jennifer Tilly, Fiona Dourif, and the return of Alex Vincent in The Cult of Chucky. Chucky returns to terrorize his human victim, Nika. Meanwhile, the killer doll has some scores to settle with old enemies with the help of his former wife. So, you give me your plot points, and I don't have much to say. I have about 20 words.
Oh, wow.
But I'd like to hear what you have to say about this movie first.
So, I really liked this movie. I'd say it's probably the third best in the Child's Play series.
Not as good as the one where they're in the army. That's for sure.
I put that one underneath it.
That's my second favorite.
Really?
Go 1, 3, 2, and then Bride, and then all the rest.
My favorite is Bride of Chucky is my first favorite. The first Child's Play is my second favorite. And this is my third. I think this movie is at its best when it embraces the insanity and ridiculousness of the Chucky concept. And I think this movie definitely did that. It put an interesting spin on the 3 different versions of the franchise while bringing them all together under one bubble. There were flaws, mainly that a lot of the victim characters were kind of flat and, they're supposed to be mental patients, but they were just fucking generic stereotypes of mental patients. And when there were CG effects, they were bad CG effects, especially compared to the practical effects, which were quite good.
Yeah, the CG in this movie is fucking terrible.
Yeah, this and the fact that the practical effects were so good made the CG look even worse.
Yeah.
But on the whole, I thought this movie was...
That fucking falling glass...
Yeah.
And then what the fuck? It just decapitates her? It's all this falling glass. Doesn't cut her anywhere else on her body. Just decapitates an obvious doll.
Yeah. But the head looks great afterwards.
But... Dude... Okay, continue.
It had some good brutality, too. The face stomping scene towards the end.
That was probably the best thing in the entire movie, I would say.
Yeah, and
you know what? I'll even increase my rating point by 1 just for that face stomping scene.
Also,
I kind of forgot about that.
The torture of the severed Chucky head in the beginning, I really liked. That whole story arc, it ended weird, but I think that's setting up for another sequel. but it started strong right out the gate. Like,
Yeah, I
loved
thought
the
I was
open.
going to like it at the beginning, how he had the head in what's that?
That was Andy.
That was Andy, yeah. And he had the head, and you can't really tell based on how he looks now that it was Andy.
Yeah.
It took a minute, because at the beginning you just thought this guy has it.
Yeah.
Until they get into it.
Yeah.
And then you kind of realize who it was.
Yeah, but I loved the whole concept of, like, he can't get a girlfriend. He doesn't have any steady friends because he's too fucked up. He just has Chucky's still living severed head on a post in his apartment that is alternatively his best friend, but also something that he tortures.
Yeah, but that's a good setup for a fucking movie. It is. If that was what it was, and it was the trials and tribulations of Andy in the head, maybe I would have liked it.
Like a buddy movie, like a buddy road trip movie.
Yeah, good cop, bad cop.
Yeah. But I liked where it went from there. I liked the idea of the multiple Chuckies. I liked the idea of doing that to bring it all together because they were so different.
You know what the problem with this fucking movie is? I'll tell you my biggest problem. I didn't give a fuck about anyone in this movie. I hated them all. I wanted everyone to die. Including the good people, including the bad people. All the crazy people in the asylum, the guy and the girl. I didn't give a fuck. And Fiona Dorff looks just like her daddy. And this movie is fucking dull. It is a dull movie.
Really?
To me, I was bored.
I liked it.
I checked the clock several times. It was a fucking chore to get through.
Wow.
And I gave it till the end because of, the integrity of the review. Gotta watch the whole movie. I would have never sat through this fucking movie if it wasn't for the postmortem show.
Wow.
And for that reason, I hate you now. This is the last show. You made me watch Cult of Chucky. I'm done.
Double retirement.
Double retirement, one week and then the next. So, stupid one-liners, horrible kills, except for the fucking face stomping. That's the only redeeming factor. All the actors are fucking terrible. Way over the top. Jennifer Tilly needs to retire. Even Brad Dourif has the voice of Chucky. I was not impressed with.
Really?
Yes, even you, Brad.
Wow.
You take your skinny little daughter and you go home. And the plot is incoherent, to say the least.
I don't think so.
It's stupid.
It made sense to me.
It's dude, and the fucking schizophrenic lady, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm just seeing you," and blah blah blah. It was just so fucking ham-handed, force-fed. Like, like
the three of the four mental patients were ham-handed and forced. Multiple Marvin, I think they called him, the guy who had multiple personalities but didn't. He was just a pathological liar. Spoiler alert. I liked that because I was pissed off that they got multiple personalities wrong until they revealed what it actually was at the end.
Continue.
And at that point, like I forgave that aspect of that character because it came together in the end.
Yeah.
And I actually really liked Fiona Dourif's performance. She had taken some notes from her dad.
She looks just like him in fucking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
She looks like him with tits.
She doesn't have tits, though. She looks just like him.
Fair enough. And I thought she had the laugh down, too.
She has the body of an 11-year-old boy. Yeah.
You didn't even like the paraplegic sex?
No, it pissed me off. I've never been, especially, I had no interest in watching this. I know you liked the Seed of Chucky. I still haven't seen the Seed of Chucky. Mm-hmm. So maybe I should give that one a chance. Maybe, does this make sense because of the Seed of Chucky?
No.
Okay, then. Well, then I won't give that a chance because I had no fucking interest, and I watched it because you told me the other one was good. I'm like, okay, I gave it an open mind. I sat down, I cracked a beer, I watched it, I gave it my full attention, and it just didn't deliver for me. And for that reason, we're the most polarizing review. I told you that I will give this movie an extra point for the face stomping scene. Okay,
right.
So for that reason, I will give this movie 1 out of 10.
Wow.
Extra beef patty.
2 all beef patty special sauce.
I got it. Double extra beef patty special sauce. Sesame seed on my buns on a hot summer night. Pickled dicks. Extra pickled dicks. And some on the side as well. And what am I missing?
I don't know. You lost me. I kind of got hypnotized there for a minute.
So, yes.
You only one.
Only one out of those, and also I'll give it one of these, too.
Wow.
Yeah, I went there. I was going to give it 0 till you reminded me of the face crushing scene. That's how badly I fucking hated it.
Wow.
This is the thing. Okay, so I'll give you 2 schools of opinion with my review. There's it, which is like, oh fuck, oh my god, they're gonna ruin everything, right? And it went pretty good, right? And then there's this, and this is just kicking a fucking dead corpse of a doll down the street for years. This is fucking beating it into the ground, tarnishing the legacy of a mediocre franchise at best, as I will say. Every time people put Chucky in the same category as Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Pinhead, a lot of people put him over Pinhead in like this Mount Rushmore horror. Fuck that.
I wouldn't
Pinhead
do that.
is so much better.
Yeah.
Even Leatherface, he's not on the caliber in Child's Play. The whole franchise, not on the caliber of any of the aforementioned. And
wow.
Fuck you, Chucky. Brad Dourif, I'm going to kick you in the dick. Oh, bam! Kick him right in the dick. He's like, but I'm Fiona.
You just kicked me in the vagina. Wow. I went completely opposite. I'm giving it 8 out of 10. And I think that this is one of the highlights of a series that has been largely mediocre and is a sign of it coming into its own as something weirder than even its initial concept.
Well, I'll tell you what. Because of just the fact that this is the most polarizing review, I think, of a movie that we've both seen, that we've ever had, when the next one comes out, I'll watch that fucker too, with bated breasts. I'm going to tie a fucking hook with a little gummy worm around my nipples.
Cool.
And I'm going to watch Cult of Chucky 2. Cult of Tiffany.
Cult of Tiffany.
Whatever the fuck. Jennifer Tilly's probably going to be dead by then.
Yeah.
It looks like she's still partying pretty hard these days, so.
The cocaine didn't pass on that one.
So yeah, that's it for At the Movies.
With a side of pickle dick.
At the Movies, Country Fair Fried Pickle Dick edition. What do you dip them in? Mayonnaise or ranch?
I don't know. I kind of like to spice it up a little bit. Use some sriracha.
Straight in Velveeta. An entire brick of melt in Velveeta. Oh, God. All right, we'll be back with our top 5 horror movie grudges after this. Thank you guys for all your support. Sharing our shit, liking our page,
listening
weekly,
not suing us,
semi-weekly,
getting semi-hard
for 30 seconds once.
Yeah.
No matter how long you listen, we still support you. Unless it is just one episode, then fuck you.
Yeah.
You better run for the fucking hills.
Run through the jungle.
That's not what this is about. No. What this is about is we have now started the official Facebook group of the Postmortem Show.
Go on Facebook, look up Postmortem Show Horror Movie Podcast for a chance to share your favorite horror memes with us and occasionally be shit-talked by me.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah, I've already done it once.
Yeah, guys, join the group. We have thousands of listeners to the show. Right now, the group only has about 300 members.
Yeah.
So please add yourself. Please share it. Share it with the world.
Yeah. Just don't say stupid
Let
ass
us
racist
into your
shit.
lives. Let us into your lives.
Yeah. Open
You want to
yourself
talk to
wide.
me?
Open
You want to talk
yourself
to
to
Dom?
us.
You want to talk to Biff?
We will
soon to be one-eared Biff.
We will put Biff on the computer if that's what you want.
We're gonna have an official event in the group. It's gonna be Facebook Live Q&A with Biff, and I'm just gonna put Biff on Facebook Live, sitting there, and he'll answer all your questions.
Maybe we could do it as like a video chat thing.
Yeah, so that's official Facebook group, Postmortem Show Horror Movie Podcast. Please join. Please share it with your friends. And we're back with the top 5 horror movie grudges, as suggested by our faithful listener Antoine. So if you guys want to suggest a list, you send us an email at postmortemshow@gmail.com. even now with the new Facebook group.
Yeah, you can communicate
You can communicate with us even better that way. Share us pictures of your dog.
Wrap your dog in gauze.
Wrap your dog in gauze after half of his ears hanging off. Poor Biff. So yeah, top 5 horror movie grudges. And Antoine sent his list. So if you guys send us a list, give us your top 5 of said list. We will read yours on the air as well. So,
one of things we were mentioning earlier was about how some of the grudges last over a span of movies, and some of them are only in single movies. I just realized now that all of my grudges are in single movies.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't go. I think I got. Yeah, actually, all mine are in single movies too. All my honorable mentions, a lot of them are in multiple movies, though. But I tried to go a little bit obscure, and I tried to go with, Laurie Strode and Michael Myers or something. You know? So, I'll start us off this week. My number 5. A concept song turned into a horror movie by Dee Snider from Twisted Sister. Horror-Turia, a.k.a. Captain Howdy, in the movie Strangeland.
Yeah.
The feud of Detective Gage and Captain Howdy himself transcends prison sentences, medication, family members. It's a pretty epic feud.
Good guys turn into bad guys.
Yeah, good guys turn into bad guys. It gets to be bad guys turn into good guys even. You feel bad for Captain Howdy. It's a grudge that lasts the whole movie. Starts off strong. And I can't wait for Strangeland 2. They've been teasing it. I don't think it's ever going to happen now because of just the fact that they've said it several times. You know? I'll be waiting again with
and it's been, what,
gummy
20
nipples.
years?
Yeah. Yeah, 1996. So if you guys haven't seen the movie Strangeland, if you heard that it was made by the guy in the band Twisted Sister, as in We're Not Going to Take It, I want to rock! Then,
hey, that's Mick Foley's best friend right there.
if that's kept you away, don't let it keep you away, because this is a well-written,
fucking
well-acted, fucking amazing movie.
Yeah.
On my top 100 of all time. It's probably in my top 50, actually, if you look at my top 100 on our website, which needs to be updated because of all the shit we've seen since we did that.
Yeah.
But, Strangeland, Captain Howdy and Detective Gage.
Good movie.
He abducts his daughter and gives her a catheter.
Yeah.
You'd want to kill that fucker.
Yeah, for sure. My number 5, Mrs. Ganoush versus Christine Brown in Drag Me to Hell.
Yeah,
a grudge that lasts beyond death.
Beyond death.
She lays that curse on her and then fucking dies so she can't lift it.
Yeah.
And that curse makes her do shit that she wouldn't normally do, exposes her frailties as a human being. I've read a lot of stuff, and I actually agree with it, about how Drag Me to Hell is actually less of a movie about horror, or less of a movie about the actual grudge between the two, and about how it's more about how it's about eating disorders, and it's about being something you're not. Because
eating disorders?
Yeah, because almost every scene with horror involves something having to do with food or consuming or purging. And then there's that whole thing about how she used to have an accent because she was from the South.
Was this article you read written by one Hank Skinny? Drag Me to Hell review by Hank Skinny.
Maybe Hank Skinny was an advisor on the set. But if you look at it just at face value and not at any kind of metaphor, it's a great fucking grudge.
Yeah.
The Christine denies Mrs. Ganoush a refinance on her house, not because she wants to, not because she's bad, but because she needs to keep her job.
And she's trying to advance within the company, and that's what the bosses want. And
it
he
all
lets
goes
her make the ultimate decision, and she gives her a button.
Yeah. And it all goes to hell from there, quite literally. And there's a talking fucking goat!
Yeah, this movie is amazing. I really liked it. It really surprised me, because I was like, man, they haven't made anything since Evil Dead horror for a long time at that point.
And he made those fucking Spider-Man movies before.
It was really good. The only thing I would change is the very, very final scene. And if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil Volta Railroad and stuff. That very final scene, that use of CGI, is absolutely terrible.
It is.
And it kind of tarnishes the whole movie, because the movie's pretty good till that very end scene.
Yeah. Conceptually, the scene's still good. The idea of it, it just was executed poorly.
Yeah. Too much CGI.
And Justin Long in a role where I didn't want to slap him. Who knew?
What about Tusk?
Oh, yeah, he was good in that too, yeah.
What about Waiting?
He was in that?
Yes.
I saw that movie right when it came out. And
he's the main guy.
I don't remember it. All I remember is Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Fucking Deadpool. My number 4, his son is the double, but he's the original. Dr. Decker. If you don't know about Dr. Double Decker, the son of Dr. Decker, you gotta go way, way back to our movies that need a sequel, right?
Yeah.
That's like 100 episodes ago or
something.
But that's one of my favorites, where we came up with our plots for these sequels. Pretty good stuff with my sequel for Dr. Double Decker, as opposed to Dr. Decker versus the whole city of Midian in Nightbreed.
He hates those fuckers.
And he cleanses the world of filth. Families, humans, monsters as well. And he has the biggest fucking grudge against the monsters of Midian.
Yeah.
In Nightbreed. So,
he's basically a racist.
Yeah, he's like a racist, but like, okay, so the families he kills some old people, he kills some fat lady and her kids and stuff like that. And then he finds these monsters.
And finds them as like the most flawed things.
Yeah. Yeah, so like he would kill anyone with a deformity or anything. You know, he's like the movie 300.
Yeah.
You know, where they throw the babies off the cliff.
Right.
They're not perfect.
And a great performance by David Cronenberg.
Yeah, as an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. And, you know, not even just the main character in him, but just the whole fucking city.
Yeah.
Of Midian. He hates them all. He wants to burn it to the ground, which he successfully does.
He does.
And then he becomes one.
In the end, he becomes the thing
he hates most, that he wants to rid the world of, and the biggest grudge. And what more fitting result for a fucking asshole?
That's right.
You know?
Alanis Morissette couldn't have written it better. I mean that. She could not have written it better.
That's very true. This is the equivalent, people, of Donald Trump working the fields.
Donald Trump being put on the other side of his wall.
Yeah.
That's right. My number 4, Marcus versus the tapeworm in the movie Irreversible. You don't know why it's a grudge yet. Because of the way it's set up. But it results in serious...
Latenia.
Yeah, Latenia, the tapeworm, results in some serious brutality. One of the most brutal beatings ever to grace
the fire extinguisher
a screen. Yeah.
And one of the most disturbing rape scenes also.
Yeah, which is what sets off the grudge.
Yeah.
The if you haven't seen Irreversible, the movie is the story is told backwards.
Even the credits are backwards before the movie.
Yeah, it begins at the end and then works its way back, showing this is what happened.
It's like Memento, but even
this is why that happened.
Memento's okay. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's Memento told the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And
brutal.
Yeah, good grudge, angry for a very valid reason.
Steroids and cocaine. Yeah, that's a fucking good one.
And he's called the tapeworm because he gets in people's asses.
That's a good point. Like you said, these are all one movie grudges.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bunch of other grudges that are on honorable mentions and stuff, but here's another one, and this is one that takes place over many, many years. Some of mine take place over a year. Some of them take place over untold months. This is many years because Dae Soo-oh versus Lee Woo-jin, his captor in Old Boy.
Yeah.
That's a fucking grudge.
Yeah.
Feed me those dumplings, you motherfucker.
It's a double grudge. It's a grudge based on a grudge.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking crazy.
And it's got a sick-ass ending.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen Old Boy, the original Old Boy, the Spike Lee Old Boy with the guy from No Country for Old Men and Samuel L. Jackson and stuff is actually not bad. I know a lot of people will probably hate me for saying that. It's not a bad movie. It's just nothing compared to Old Boy.
Yeah, Old Boy is so good.
Yeah, it's like we said about, you know, it being on steroids and cocaine or whatever. Old Boy's like that. This is the tame one, you know. Yeah. So Old Boy, the fucking hammer scene,
that fight, it's all done in one take.
Yeah,
and
they do that in the other one too. They do a long take.
It's in all three of them because that's part of the Revenge trilogy. There's a scene like that in every single one of those movies.
All of that trilogy, nothing compares to Old Boy. Though.
Yeah,
the other ones are like almost laughable imitations. It's not the same, not an imitation because it's a story. It's not like the same movie or anything, but just the comparison between
Old Boy is the crown jewel.
Is fucking one of the greatest fucking craziest revenge movies of all time, as opposed to, you know, some Lady Vengeance and shit. You know,
it's the second in the series, but it's the one that got made as its own on the as a standalone movie for an American remake. It's just that good.
Yeah, and it's still on Netflix streaming. So if you guys haven't seen Old Boy, check it out. That fucking movie's crazy.
Yeah. My number 3, Might have actually been my number one on a personal level, but the movies that I put before it or farther down the list are just are better movies.
Okay.
But I love this movie either way. And The Grudge is Eric Draven versus Top Dollar and his gang in The Crow.
Yeah.
Classic movie. And, you know, I was thinking about it when I was making this list about why none of the other Crow movies were good. And it was...
What about the one with Edward Furlong?
Especially the one with Edward Furlong. The only one that comes close to being good, I thought, was Crow City of Angels, the second one, because they still had the aesthetic, and then the aesthetic slowly went away in those. But what that movie was missing was the thugs were all just
Talk
sort of,
about a dreary, unhappy movie, man. The Crow is one.
Brandon Lee conveyed some kind of insanity in that movie. Like, you look at Eric Draven, the way Brandon Lee played him, that dude was crazy. Even without being undead and you know, an immortal revenant being. That dude was fucking crazy. And Brandon Lee, like, you know, Gangrel says you sell it with the eyes. Yeah. Brandon Lee sold it with the eyes. He looked fucking nuts. Yeah. You know, he proved that he wasn't just a on-screen martial artist. He was actually an actor.
I'll even say that, like, The Crow is one of those movies that, if you think about it, like, to me, like, if I would think about it, I'd think it's overrated. That people make way too big of a deal about it until you rewatch it. Yeah. You gotta watch it. If you watch it again, you're like, fuck.
This is still a good movie.
Fucking good movie.
And Michael Wincott is the bad guy, man. You can't beat Michael Wincott as a bad guy.
The only thing...
Here's an impression for you. Caw, bang, fuck, I'm dead. That's some cold shit to say.
The only rival character is in True Romance, you know?
Yeah.
That gangster guy in True Romance. Yeah. Like, that's the only rival character I can say that's that good of that type of villain.
Just a fucking rich, but still a street dirtbag.
Yeah.
Like, what happens when the fucking corner pimp actually gets some money? You get fucking Top Dollar.
Yeah, that's a fucking good movie. I gotta rewatch it. I gotta show that to the boy.
Yeah.
Show that to the kids.
Yeah.
I've never showed that to him. But number 2 for me, character named Lucy against the religious zealots in Martyrs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coming to their fucking breakfast table, bringing that grudge.
Fucking them up.
It's not the main focus of the movie. It's her.
Yeah.
Versus those people.
That's
it's only the beginning. It's the setup of the movie, but man, the intensity there.
Yeah.
That's why I almost made it my number 1. I went with my number 1. It's topical, and because it... we'll get there. But, yeah, Lucy and Martyrs, man.
Yeah, and that's just a great example of, like, French extreme horror with the violence out of nowhere. Yeah. That makes it so good. Like, when that shit happened, the first time you see it, you're like, whoa! Jeez, kill those fuckers!
Yeah, it definitely is out of nowhere, so... And a great movie. Another fucking horrible American remake. Why do you get your filthy hands on my Martyrs? I'll never know.
Douchebags.
And the Martyrs American remake, terrible. But if you've never seen Martyrs, you gotta pull the trigger on
and if you've only seen the American version, and you haven't seen the French one...
Probably all of our listeners have seen Martyrs, I would imagine.
Maybe.
If you guys haven't seen Martyrs... Please reach out to us, postmortemshow@gmail.com if you've never seen it.
So we can ask you what you're doing with your life.
Yeah, no, not just that, but like I want to know what you think. I want you to watch it and tell us about it. So, yeah, or in the Facebook group. Now we have the Facebook group, so reach out to us on there. Yeah, and again, share that shit because it's new, and we have thousands of listeners, and there's only like 300 people in the Facebook group.
Yeah,
it's only people on my personal Facebook I added that I know listen to the show.
Yeah,
none of the random listeners. Yeah,
me too.
So. All right.
My number 2, Max Cady versus Sam Bowen and Cape Fear. Robert De Niro's greatest role.
I don't know how I forgot about that. Yes, very fucking good, and definitely I think his greatest role. I love Taxi Driver. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love a lot of his movies. Yeah. You know, but to me that's the most. He is menacing.
Yeah, he's a nuanced actor. Like a lot of people can do menace and just like be scary. But Robert De Niro has layers to his menace, and he builds up to it. And, you know, it starts out as like he's a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
And then he's a lot creepy. And then he's scary as fuck. And then he's a fucking murderous fucking juggernaut that you can't do anything to stop. And, you know, he's pissed off at Sam Bowen because he went to prison, and Bowen was his lawyer and didn't, you know, he feels that he didn't represent him properly. So he comes back and he fucking terrorizes his whole family.
Yeah.
And, and Sam Bowen has to man up.
Just the amount of sheer parodies, like The Simpsons and Saturday Night Live and stuff of Cape Fear. You know, when Sideshow Bob in the movie theater,
3 attempts to parody it in wrestling before they got it kind of right.
Yeah, I know for sure. Yeah, now it's kind of working out to his benefit. So, all right. So my number one, it's super topical because of one of the biggest movies recently that's been released, but 27-year feud between the Losers Club and Pennywise.
Nice.
Think about that.
Yeah.
27 years. As kids, the hatred Pennywise had for the town of Derry, coming back 27 years later, the new It's come out, it's hot in the presses, so I'm going to jump on the bandwagon here with my number one, The Losers Club, even though I used to love the miniseries, regardless of its flaws, and especially the book. So
yeah. We're about halfway back into the book now. There's so much shit that I forgot about.
There's so much shit that didn't need to be there. That's a long-ass book.
Yeah.
If he trimmed that turtle shit, trim the fucking gangbang scene and all that shit.
The gangbang scene can go. I like the turtle shit, but that's because I've read Dark Tower.
Yeah.
And it makes sense in that context. But yeah, the gangbang scene can go.
You killed George, you bastard! You bastard! The worst acting ever. R.I.P. Sidekick Skid.
What was the other? Sequest, DSV, with Darwin and Roy Scheider.
That was a fucking horrible show.
Yeah, it was.
That went for way too long.
Yeah.
You're number one.
Roy Scheider will do anything for money. My number one, little film by our friend Takashi Mike, who makes some fantastic revenge movies. Almost all of his movies are revenge movies.
Yeah.
But this one is, hands down, my favorite of his movies and my favorite revenge movie. And that is Okada Izo versus the Yama Kings in the film Izo.
Yeah.
Okada Izo is a samurai who is executed in feudal Japan times for the crimes of his lord. And he goes to hell. And he becomes so bent on not getting revenge on his lord. He goes beyond that. He wants to get revenge on the entire fucking universe and find the Yama Kings, who are the Japanese gods, and kill them. And he butchers his way through the entire afterlife, through his own psyche, through the entire history of human violence, building an army of fucking World War II Japanese zombies and shit. Bob Sapp as a Buddhist monk can't even stop him. And he's turning into a demon the whole time. He just lets his fucking bloodthirsty desire for vengeance just overtake him entirely, and it's a beautiful thing.
I need to rewatch that. I really do.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, I need to rewatch
great
it.
Special
I saw it
effects,
like a long
great
time
violence.
ago. I think at that time of my life, I wasn't really paying much attention to it.
It's one because it's long. It's 2.5 hours long,
Yeah.
I think. And it's that Takashi Miike style where there's like scenes of exposition and then intense violence. Scenes of exposition and then intense violence, where he kind of lulls you into where you're like, this is almost boring, and then it gets fucking crazy again. But then he punctuates the movie with the narrator, who's Japanese Tom Waits, fucking playing his guitar and screeching.
Yeah.
And it's a great movie. It's a great revenge story, and it's
the Japanese version of Dead and Breakfast. Wait, that's a horrible comparison.
It's like the ultra spiritual Japanese version of Dead and Breakfast. And really, the ultimate point of Izo is that even if you get revenge, you don't win.
Yeah.
And that's
what I like. That's a story that needs to be told. Yeah.
I've got a 0 before we go in.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily because it's the best movie, but it's because it is the revenge movie. Jennifer Hills versus Johnny, Stanley, Andy, and Matthew. I Spit on Your Grave.
For sure. It's on my honorable mentions as well. I tried to not go with a lot of exploitation and go with more horror.
Yeah, revenge is very common in exploitation.
Exploitation is revenge.
Yeah.
That's all it is, so that's why I try to stick to the horror element. Yeah. Maybe Old Boy, I mean, could you call that horror or exploitation or what?
It is what it is.
It's Old Boy, yeah.
It's
Other than that, like Strangeland, Nightbreed, Martyrs, and those are all horror movies, So I try to stick to that realm, but I got a lot of that on my honorable mentions.
But, I Spit on Your Grave is the granddaddy of all exploitation revenge movies.
Yeah.
There were exploitation movies before that dealt with revenge.
And the new one, the remake is
good.
The sequels to the remake are good.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah. It's, I mean...
Especially the time it came out, that remake, you know, they're remaking Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and they're all horrible.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
It's just a solid concept. It's hard to fuck up.
Yeah, so... Alright, my honorable mentions. The first one, you could say it's my 0 as well. Herbert West and Dr. Hill. Reanimator and Bride of Reanimator.
They hate each other.
They hate each other. Transcends multiple... I just can't talk about Reanimator anymore. I've worn out my Reanimator welcome. It's supposed to be banned.
It was banned on like the second episode.
I was talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
I used it as an example, but it's banned. Shame on me.
Fortunately, I don't really give a shit. So.
What would you do if you did? You just instantly kill me?
I'd throw this Gatorade bottle at you so hard that it fucking sticks in your head, and you'd be a Gatorade narwhal for the rest of your life.
No, I'd just be Gatorade Hellraiser 3.
the Gatorade Cenobites.
Yeah. Speaking of Cenobites, Chrissy versus the Cenobites in the Hellraiser franchise.
Yeah.
Laurie and Michael Myers, of course. The Voorhees family and camp counselors. Not just Jason, but his mom as well. Freddy and the parents and the kids of Springwood. Tommy Jarvis and Jason.
Yeah.
Ripley and the aliens. Mulder and Scully versus the Smoking Man and the government.
Yeah.
Ash versus the Evil Dead. Death Sentence. Kevin Bacon in Death Sentence is a man on a mission.
He's a man possessed.
Yes, he has a fucking grudge. For sure.
That's the movie that made me believe in Kevin Bacon.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't believe before that.
I was like he's an actor. You know, I regarded him the same way I regarded Leonardo DiCaprio.
He's white bread with a pig face.
Yeah. And the same way I regarded Leonardo DiCaprio when all I knew was Romeo and Juliet and Titanic. And then I saw The Basketball Diaries, and I was like, this motherfucker can act. And I saw What's Eating Gilbert Grape, I was like, this motherfucker can act. But, yeah, I kind of...
But Kevin Bacon was in Friday the 13th, Part 1.
Yeah, you know, he was like 14 when he did it.
Hannibal and Clarice. Not really a grudge.
It's a weird grudge.
She has it on him. He's more like one of those guys that's really weird with a woman that, like, doesn't... Okay, so it's not overtly sexual, but it kind of is.
He negs her.
Yeah.
He's a total neg. Yeah, and, well, their relationship is weird, too, because she ultimately ends up kind of falling for him, too. It's like the hate turns into love, but then turns back into hate.
Yep. He definitely manipulates her.
Yeah.
So. The Fireflies and the Wydells.
Yeah.
Both of them. Swan versus Nyx, Lord of Illusions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nyx comes back from the grave, and Swan still wants to kill him again, but Nyx is the shit. That's one of my favorite villains of all time.
He's good.
If we did our top 5 villains, he might be... If he's on the list, he's on the honorable mentions.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That's just the special effects just take you right out of it.
I don't let it bother me.
Yeah.
Just the folding little things and stuff. But like, he's good. When
he's amazing.
Like, the practical effects in that movie are on par with anything else.
Yeah.
It's just the CGI.
Yeah.
When they use that stupid CGI.
Lawnmower Man CGI.
Yeah. And my last honorable mention. Dr. Van Helsing versus vampires in Modern Vampires. The best portrayal of Dr. Van Helsing of all time.
Yeah, for sure. So you had Freddy versus the Parents of Springwood. I want to go back to Tommy Jarvis versus Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
I love that.
Die!
I love that grudge more than even Jason versus the camp counselors. Because Jason doesn't really give a fuck about Tommy Jarvis.
Yeah.
But Tommy Jarvis is so possessed by his hatred for Jason that he becomes him.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, but then doesn't. He comes back. You know, it's just a great story. More than Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, for me in Halloween, it's Sam Loomis versus Michael Myers.
Yeah. Sam Loomis has a better, like, Michael Myers, it's like a 3-way.
Yeah.
It's like a 3-way.
It's like a murder triangle.
Yeah.
A grudge triangle. But he's so possessed.
Donald Pleasance is the bottom in that scenario.
Oh yeah, definitely. So he was in this movie in the 70s, Donald Pleasance was, called Puma Man, and it was made in Italy, and it was like their attempt to try to make a horror or a superhero movie, and it was terrible.
Was he the Puma Man?
No, he's the bad guy.
Really?
Yeah. He was this like
Puma Donald Pleasance.
he was like this fucking skinny Donald Pleasance in bondage gear trying to take over the world. and fight the Puma Man. He's the Puma Man. The Puma Man. I mean, it was so bad it ended up being one of the best episodes of Mystery Science Theater ever, but, like, it's weird to see Donald Pleasance be so intense in Halloween and then be so terrible in a movie that he doesn't give a shit about and is just phoning in.
Yeah.
Because he's so good in that movie. Like, that he's just so driven to stop Michael Myers. He knows the evil, and he puts himself in harm's way. You had Odaisu versus Wu Jin, and my last honorable mention, movie we haven't talked about much that I think is quite underrated, Peyton Westlake versus Robert Durant in Darkman.
Yeah, Darkman it's a horror...
It's a horror superhero movie.
Superhero, yeah. I'm not a superhero guy, but I like Darkman.
I love Darkman. I even love Darkman 2, and a lot of people shit on that movie.
It's kind of like Foss. The Foss Love of the Damned. You know, to where it's like, he's almost like a superhero, but not really.
Yeah.
Kind of like Spawn or something, where it's like horror and superhero.
Faust was a comic book also. The movie was based on a comic book, graphic novel, but it was definitely horror in the realm of comic books.
Yeah, that one, you know what? You're the only person I've ever met who's known about that fucking movie.
I've seen that movie so many times.
You told me, on a previous episode.
Yeah, when I lived in Lompoc, we used to fucking take DXM and put that movie on and just fucking trip the fuck out to it. Because, like, it's not a trippy movie, but everything is so intense and overblown, and that actor has such an expressive face.
And it's got, like, the Brian Yuzna style lighting, like the lighting of, say, Return of the Living Dead 3.
Yeah.
The down lighting, colored, and over-expression, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the guy was like Jim Carrey Rubberface, but playing a super intense emotional role, not trying to be funny. And
Rubberface is horrible, though.
But I'm not talking about the movie Rubberface. Fuck that movie. I actually forgot that ie existed until you brought it up.
You just said it!
I'm talking about Jim Carrey's Rubberface. How he's so expressive in what he does.
Yeah.
That actor was the same way, but he was like doing melodrama instead of comedy, and it just made the whole thing even more trippy. But yeah, Darkman, very underrated movie. I actually kind of want to go back and watch it again. I haven't watched it in a little while, but
and I'll go back and watch Rubberface. All right.
I wonder if Jim Carrey like watches Rubberface and like whips himself.
He's self-flagellation.
Yeah,
like that fucking God movie with Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
All right, so this list, the top 5 horror grudges, was sent in by our listener Antoine, and he sent his list as well, which I will now read to you. So, number 5, the Loomis family versus Sidney from the Scream series. Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah,
I think Scream 1 it got lumped in with it because it started that teenage, I know what you did last summer, urban legend bullshit.
Yeah,
Scream 1 is actually pretty good.
It's a good movie.
It's pretty good. Yeah,
it's just what it kicked off. It's like, it's like saying fucking, like Crass is a shitty band because they spawn Green Day, but they're not.
Crass didn't spawn. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby? Did you put that evil on Crass, Ricky Bobby?
There would be no Green Day if there was no Crass.
Don't say that. Number 4, Chucky versus Andy in Child's Play series, which we will never talk about again. It's banned. Dom made me watch a 1-star movie. Was a 0-star. It's banned in my eyes. He can talk about all he wants, but no more Chucky for me. Number 3, Julia versus Chrissy, Hellraiser 1 and 2. I went with Cenobites. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty interesting, too.
Again, the Cenobites don't really give a shit about Julie. Like, Pinhead, they care about her as much as they care about anyone else.
Yeah, Chrissy's the protagonist. Yeah. Julia is the English stepmom.
Yeah. Arguably, Julie is the real bad guy of Hellraiser. The Cenobites are just doing what the Cenobites do.
Well, and Frank.
Yeah.
Frank is the bad guy. Yeah. Frank is the true bad guy. Lulia is like the periphery bad guy with him. And the Cenobites are just like with the weather.
They're a force of nature.
You don't blame the fucking weather. You know what I mean? It's not the tornado isn't the asshole in the situation. You
don't blame the tornado. You blame Barack Obama.
It's not the hurricane that's the fucking problem. It's the way that the fucking Cheeto-faced, fake-haired president responds to the tornado.
That's right.
All right. And number 2, Jason versus Tommy Jarvis, Friday the 13th. Number 1, Freddy versus Nancy, Nightmare on Elm Street series. So he went with a lot of the big names here. But he did give some honorable mentions. Lieutenant Lefty and Wright versus the Sawyer clan from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Yeah.
Really cool. I love Texas Chainsaw.
Great
It's
movie.
like Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Doom meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Awesome. Especially with Chop Top.
Yeah.
That's by far the standout of the whole fucking franchise.
And I love the corpse puppet.
Yeah, that's funny. And then, woo! Yeah, that shit is fucking silly.
Dennis Hopper just losing his shit.
Dude, Dennis Hopper, man, I was thinking about Blue Velvet today. Frank Booth.
Yeah.
Blue Velvet. So underrated.
Yeah.
So many fucking lines. Quotable.
Yeah. The devil has the best lines.
I never had the fucking... I never quoted him. And I think in our quotable top 5 quotes, And fuck it. If you guys haven't seen Blue Velvet, you need to give that a chance. I avoided it for so long because it's called Blue Velvet and it looks like a romance.
Yeah.
If you look at the cover, but it is not.
It's a romance like true romance is a romance.
Yeah. And then Michael Myers versus Laurie Strode from the Halloween series, and his last one, Jennifer versus the Hillbillies in I Spit on Your Grave.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Antoine, for once again contributing to this here show. Couldn't do it without you.
That's right.
Literally. So,
this episode is dedicated to Antoine.
Yes, and the victims of the shooting in Las Vegas. And Antoine also.
Yes.
Is that what you're going with?
Yes.
Piggyback
Yeah,
Antoine.
I was going to I was actually going to blame him for it, but I think it's too soon for that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
God damn it, Don. You first to the fucking Cult of Chucky, now this.
Yeah. I'm a bad person. I'm going to go home and self-flagellate, which means jerk off.
And the entire time while you're whipping yourself, instead of just giving the fucking Stations of the Cross or the Hail Mary or whatever the fuck they do, you're going to whip yourself and give the recipe for those Big Macs.
Big old beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, pickle dick, with a sesame seed bun, and extra pickle dick.
And you're going to be whipping yourself with a giant pickled dick.
I'm going to take a bunch of pickled dicks and put them on strings of barbed wire and make like a flail.
I can help you construct that.
Yeah. You'll supply the pickled dicks.
Alright, so that's it for our top 5 grudges. Thank you guys for once again joining us. Join the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Yeah.
We want to have some fan interaction.
That's right.
We're getting a lot of listeners. I would prefer to have less listeners. I mean, that's a controversial subject. Hear me out, though.
I would prefer to have less listeners if those listeners that go away are ones who support Victor Salva.
Yes, that as well. But I would prefer to have less listeners, but more that actually reach out and talk to us, email, blah blah blah, share the shit, actually invest in the Postmortem Show. That's what I want.
And by investing in the Postmortem Show, you should go to our Amazon.
I mean,
click through.
You should go to our GoFundMe.
Our Patreon.
DomsFemskin.com. GoFundMe /DomsFemskin.
That's right.
So we can donate to the Postmortem Show.
Yeah.
GoFundMe /Biff's New Year.
We're going to have to start one for that.
I am. I guarantee tomorrow when I take them to the vet,
as
soon as they open, I'm going to be looking at like $500-600.
So we're going to have to make a commercial with like slow motion images of Biff's ear and Sarah McLachlan playing in the background.
In the arms of an angel.
All right. So, I guess as H.P. Lovecraft once said, as he got on the old Facebook and went to the Postmortem Show Horror Podcast group, and then flagellated himself with some pickled dicks. It was real mad at someone. It smells like fish.
Throw the fucker back.
Oh, you put special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickled dicks on a sesame seed bun.
To all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. To all beef patty, special sauce.